Hey guys, it's John with ReelBlue Custom Rods, and today I'm going to show you how to do something. I think it's a little unique, a little bit different. Some of you may have seen something like it in the past, I don't think I've seen it in the past, and so I'm going to call this basically a carbon tiger wrap. So where I'm going to get the carbon from is from the rod blank itself here. So you can see the carbon fiber here in this lower portion of this catfish build that I'm doing. And then we're going to make it into like a tiger wrap. And so, you know, once we do tiger wraps, you know, we create kind of that tiger pattern, that 3D effect. It has a lot of depth to it. I believe what I'm getting ready to show you here with this carbon tiger wrap, if you will, has a lot of depth as well. So the first thing to understand what I'm using for the thread wrap is I'm using this thread right here. This is the Hitna Metallic Versa thread. This is the blue color. If you're interested in getting some of this thread, you can get it down in the comments below at a link in the comments below, excuse me. And so what I did here is I just did a piece, you know, with some mesh tape below it to give it that dragon scale look. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into kind of this tiger wrap piece of it, if you will. So I've got a few marks on the rod, and basically this blue mark here is what I'm going to wrap consistently to until I get into what I'm going to call the tiger wrap portion. So let's go ahead and get this thread started. Get a good bite on the thread. All right. Once I get this wrapped a few times, I'll go ahead, pull on that thread and pack it a little bit. All right, so we got that thread in there. Now let's go ahead and start. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to work this thread all the way down until I hit this blue mark. But first of all, let me know what you guys think about this blue. I've done a video on this Hitna Metallic Versa thread, this blue color. You can see that link up here in the upper right hand corner if you're interested in watching that video. If you are, I encourage you to come back after this video and watch that. That way you can see kind of how this pans out, but you can see what it looks like here on a dragon scale wrap. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap this on top of the blank here with just a regular wrap, if you will. And what I like about this thread, it looks like a bunch of inlays essentially when you're using this thread, and it's got a systematic pattern to it, as you guys will see, as you can see here, and then as you'll see a little bit more clearly here when it's not on the dragon scale portion. But we're going to wrap this down to that spot that I want to get to. And then we're going to get into this tiger wrap. So again, let me know what you guys think down there in the comments block about that thread there. If you've been using this thread so far, let me know what you guys have thought about it. If, you know, after watching the video and then actually put it into application, let me know what you guys think about it. As I move down here a little bit, almost to my mark, and then you guys will see what we're talking about when I'm wrap. Pretty cool looking. I think what happens is the carbon on the actually some of that depth. I would agree with that. You guys like it enough to try sometime. So all right, so I'm almost down to the spot I want to be at. getting down here to the end. Okay. All right, almost down here to the end, guys. And as we get down here, I'm going to slow down and I'm going to want to go just past this blue mark that you can see right there. I'm going to want to go just over the edge of that blue mark and then start that portion. So I'm at the blue. I want to get just over that. Just past that. I don't want any of that to be one more for good measure. Okay, so now we're going to get in the dragon scale portion, guys. And so what I'm going to do is I'm pulling off, and I'll show you. I don't think it really matters, but this is nylon Pro Wrap 862. But what I think does matter is the size D, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thread. And I'm just going to come under here like if I was doing an inlay wrap. The same exact thing as if I was doing an inlay wrap. And I'm going to take the tape and lay it there on the edge. All right. And then all I'm going to do is hold the thread, as you can see down here. I've got this long piece of black thread, probably triple, quadruple arm's length piece of that thread. And I'm going to keep it on the right side because I'm moving to the right. If I was wrapping to the left, I'd have the black thread on the left side of this blue Hinton metallic Versa thread. So I'm just going to hold down here with my two fingers, the thread and that black thread. Now what I don't want to do, guys, is mess you up and I may have to switch hands here. That way I can do it this way. And then all I'm going to do is wrap this and use my fingernail to pack the thread. So in a tiger wrap, I would be using, I prefer to use 3 different colors and types of thread. Usually one's a metallic thread. And then I would start wrapping this and lay it all the way down across. But I'm going to go about halfway down this span that I have to do. I'm going to go about halfway down. All right. And again, just taking my time. It could be a little monotonous. You could have the black thread on its own thimble if you wanted, where you're just holding that spool. But I tend to do it this way with my fingers down here because that way I know I'm keeping pressure on the black thread, because the blue Hinton metallic Versa thread is on the tension rod, right? Back there in the back. So I'm not worried about so much about that one, but this black thread, I want to keep just the amount of same pressure on it. That's why I just run the fingers between my hands. Excuse me, run the thread between my fingers as far as I want to take this. And then if you feel like you need to stop and take a break, all I recommend doing is just come up here, put a piece of tape across your work, and then let go of your thread, and then you're good to go. But that way you can kind of take a break. If you get a little cramp in your finger or whatnot, go back down, apply the pressure to your thread, lift your tape, and keep on wrapping. So again, I'm going to go down to, I'm trying to get down to about the halfway point. And what I'm not trying to do is cross over any of the threads, right? Trying to make sure I have a layer of black thread, size D, between all of the metallic, the hint of metallic Versa thread, this blue color. I'm just going to keep on going down. Sorry guys, I got to reach over with my other hand because what I don't want to do is put my hand over here on the right where I've already wrapped the rod. I don't want to mess up that thread wrap that I've already done over there. I'm just reaching over with my hand and using my fingernail. I could be using a burnishing tool. I just feel like it's easier this way with my finger. You know, having my hand by the camera isn't ideal for you guys, but it's just easier for me to work it this way. Okay. All right, almost getting there. I think what I'm going to do is put a piece of tape on here. And I'm just going to get a measure. Again, put the tape on there. That's going to hold my work in place. And then what I'm doing is I'm just coming in here to get a measure. And I know I got to go about 2 inches. So I want to have this wrapped to about the 1 inch mark, which I'm about a 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch short. So, and I should be good. So again, I'm just going to slide my slider there. Again, grab my threads, then lift my tape. And then keep wrapping. All right. And the great thing about using 2 threads at the same time, you're actually wrapping it a little quicker. All right, so let me come back here, check my work. So I'm about a 1/16 short. So what I'm going to do, and I'm getting low on my thread here, on my black thread. So I'm just going to turn until I get to the back side again. I'm going to do 2 things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab me a piece of thread. I'm going to use this piece that I'm grabbing here, this white piece. I'm going to let go of the black or of the silver and just grab the black thread. Keep some pressure on it. And I'm just going to move it over out of my way a little bit. Then I'm going to take this black thread. So what I did is I put that white piece of thread under there as a loop, as you do in a dragon or in a tiger wrap, so I can pull this black thread out easily. But for right now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull it underneath the thread to lock it in place a tiny bit. Take a piece of tape and get that into position. then I'm going to come back with another piece of black thread. I'm just pulling it off of the spool here. And then I'm going to come underneath and go above, almost above kind of where I brought that other piece underneath. And then I'm going to keep wrapping. And then this white piece is going to come under. I just want to pull it aside. There we go. And I can even, if I wanted to, just get a piece of tape and pull that down. So what I'm going to do is just take this piece of tape, put it under there, and then I'll get back to wrapping this. And I'm just trying to get to my 1-inch mark. And that's probably pretty close to my 1-inch mark. Let me put a piece of tape over that just to hold that down. Again, I'm going to come back with my ruler. And just a little bit over. I'm a little bit over, but I'm okay with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take another piece of thread. And this time I'm going to use just some Color Fast. Just basically some 807 Pro Wrap Color Fast white thread. But again, it's size D. That's the important part. It is size D. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll come back here, take this tape off. Take the tape off for a second. I'm just going to come underneath this thread for a second. Actually, I'm going to pull this back out. I don't want it on that side, guys. I want all my thread to stay on my other side here. But I do have that. And I'm going to take this working end. I'm going to turn my rod a little bit. And I'm going to use the end of that piece of tape right there like that to help me hold and so what I'm doing is I'm just setting my thread in my lap. So I have my black in the center, and then I want my white all the way off to the side. And now, instead of holding 2 threads in my finger, I'm holding 3 threads in my finger. And I'm doing the same thing now that I was doing earlier. We're just turning that rod. And again, the colors here are immaterial, right? The black and the white thread that I'm using here, they're immaterial as far as the color, right? I want the size of the thread, which is the D, to help me create space. And the point here is to take this carbon background of this blank and bring that through the threads, which will give some depth to it. So I'm going to keep wrapping. And keep using my finger to move the thread over. And it's pretty tedious. I can probably turn it a couple times and then come back and pack. But I want to make sure I'm keeping the threads evenly packed as possible. And I'm going to go almost all the way down to the end here. Almost all the way down to the end right here. I mean, I know it's pretty quiet. So I'm just going to keep wrapping until I get to the spot I want to be at. Which is going to be about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to stop about 1/8 of an inch to the end. Again, just take your time. Make sure you're packing your threads right here. Keep going until just, again, almost to the end down here where the thread starts to the right. All right, make sure you're awake. Hey, if you guys are enjoying this video and you think this is some good material, please hit the like button down there and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think so far about, anything about the quality of the video, about the thread that I'm using or the pattern that I'm trying to create here. Let me know what you guys think. If it's your first time to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you. If you have not subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you're notified every time I release a video, which is every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay, so I'm getting to the spot where I think I want to stop with this, but I'm going to just get my ruler and I'm going to come back and check. And that's it. That's where I want to be at. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another piece of thread. Just bear with me, guys. I'm going to use this blue piece of thread here. And what I want to do is I'm going to give it a half turn, come to the back side of the rod. I'm going to get this metallic thread underneath here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come underneath the wrap that I was creating. Right there, you see I just came underneath the thread, and then I'm just going to use the thread to lock that in position. Then I can cut these two that I was working with. And then what I want to do is I want to get another piece of tape just to hold this stuff out of the way. And I went one too far. Nope, I'm good. So I want to turn to lock this down. And I want to pull this blue one out of the way. And then do that again. Pull it out of the way. Without putting too much tension on it there. Then I'm going to grab my burnishing tool. I'm just going to help push those thread in just a bit. I don't want too much pressure because that black and that white thread are loose, right? And now I'm just going to wrap. And I'm going to grab my other piece of thread here so I can pull those through. And I'm going to do those away from those loose ends. Do that back over here. All right. I'll loosen that up. Cut that thread. I'm going to come in here. And then I'm going to use my razor blade, cut that, and now we're going to start messing around with all this tape job stuff. So now what I want to do, so the first thing I want to tell you guys here, a very important step, is when you're going to pull this thread out, you want to pull it straight away. You want to pull it straight from you wherever you are in that wrap. If you pull at an angle, it's going to pull or move your spacing thread. So now what I'm going to do is take this tape off. That's going to free up that black and white thread. And then I'm going to free up the black and white thread right here. I'm going to cut it closer. As you can see, I need to get new scissors. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over and I'm going to grab this blue thread and pull that black and white thread out of there, just like that. Very carefully. Okay, and then now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to pull too hard because remember, I don't want to move those threads when I'm doing this because I don't want to move that silver thread or that metallic Versa thread that's in blue there. So I'm just going to hand turn this. And slowly turn this by hand, pulling that thread out of there. So now I got some stuff going on here. And instead of trying to figure out what's what, I'm just going to cut that loose. All right. So I can pull that last little piece of white piece out of there. Then I can take this piece of tape off. There, I got the last black thread out of there. And then I'm just going to take this white piece and pull up on it. And then pop that thread loose. Now the same thing. So I went from double to single, kind of like a fade, right? Kind of a fade wrap. So I'm going to take the one thread. I'll keep pulling straight back. I'm using one hand to turn the rod and one hand to keep pressure on the black thread. Again, I'm just keep pulling this thread off it. Turn with left hand, pull with right hand. And then you can see more and more of that carbon pattern below that thread popping through. And so where it was double, it's a little, where I had 3 threads, where I removed the 2, you can see it a lot, a lot easier. And then now where I'm pulling out just this one black thread, you can still see it, but it's a little bit more subtle, right? So it's giving it that fade type pattern, if you will. Plus, you're getting that tiger type look to it because that carbon below it is giving it that that depth that the tiger wrap will give you by doing 3 threads, several layers of finish, and then 1 thread. Now I'm down to just where the 1 thread is at. I'm going to cut this a little closer. Holy smokes, do I need new scissors? All right, so that's it. I'm just going to pull that thread out right there. And then that is it. And that is the carbon tiger wrap, if you will, or at least that's what I liken it to. That's what I think it looks like. So you get a lot of different patterns out of this thread. With the blue regular nylon thread, then you have the Hitna metallic Versa thread with the dragon scale underneath it. Then it transitions back to the Hitna Versa thread. And then we kind of get into this tiger wrap or / fade wrap with that, where that carbon's popping out through the bottom. Then we get into the center of the rod. And then it kind of does it kind of goes back to that reverse pattern, if you will. So, hey, I hope you guys got something out of this video. Hope you like the idea. I hope it encouraged you to try something. Let me know what you think in the comments block down below. And again, if you're interested in buying this version of the Hitna metallic Versa thread, again in blue, you can get it in the link down in the description below. So, hey, hope this helps. Thanks for watching. As always, I always appreciate your guys' support. And thank you. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. All right. Until next time, guys. Take care. Bye.